talk a little bit about it. So we are uniquely positioned being housed at an environmental research institute, and it's really a pleasure that we are literally down the hall from these amazing scientists and engineers, and we really want to take advantage of that. So DRI has supported our Science Alive program, which is our K-12 program that provides experiences such as this workshop series, but also a ton of activity and lessons for you to use in your classroom. And the goal is really to bring environmental science and energy conservation and all of these topics to your students. So if you want to advance the slide once, Brittany. So our green boxes, I'll talk while Brittany's getting that to the next slide. Our green boxes are one of the avenues in which we do that. So if those of you are familiar with FOSS kits, basically a one-stop shop, a literal suitcase full of activities, all the lesson plans you need in order to do about 2 to 3 weeks worth of lessons with your students. Again, all of the materials are inside. So not only the plans themselves, but all of the nuts and bolts like glue, markers, tape, paper, but we also have a lot of specialized material in those as well. So we have GPS units and some salinity meters and some other ones. We really want to get your kiddos' hands on some equipment that they might not have access to otherwise. So topics include water conservation in the desert Southwest. Today I'll be talking about our energy efficiency kit for 4th grade, and I'll also be talking about our solar PV kit for middle school. We have a ton of different topics to choose from. The way you get your hands on them is you go on our website. We have reservation periods 4 times throughout the year. You get the kit sent directly to your school site. You get to use what's inside and then send it back to us. So what's really great about these is it's all for free. You get to use all the consumable supplies inside. You don't have to replenish anything. The return label's paid for. So literally no hidden costs. We understand right now this isn't the best option for you being distance learning. These were really designed to be in kiddos' hands, working in groups collaboratively, but we don't want these to sit on the shelf. So if you are interested in just poking through one, maybe you want to look at it and you're able to demo an activity for your students when you do have that synchronous time together, or maybe you just want to get some ideas for the future and you want to photocopy some worksheets or some readings that you find really interesting. We really want them, even if they're just a little bit useful in these distant learning times, we want you to access them. If you could advance it 2 slides, that's just what's inside. Every green box has a little bit of everything, so you know exactly what to expect, but obviously unique depending on the subject matter. STEM kits, really similar because we had such a success with our Green Box program. We designed these STEM kits. So these are meant for sort of out of school times, after school programs, family STEM nights, our boys and girls clubs use them, etc. But we wanted something that's a little bit more digestible. Green box material is really dense in content, and we wanted something that's a really quick immersive experience for a student. You lay stuff out on a table, they walk up, they interact with it, and then they go on to another station. So same concept in terms of how you get out your hands on them. You go on our website, it's first come, first serve. We send them directly to you, you send them back to us. So another option, a little bit different. So we have a lot of space themes ones, but we also have an energy one that is honestly hot off the presses and is ready to be piloted by one of you, whoever is most interested. So Chelsea's going to go over that one a little bit more, and that one's really appropriate for our upper elementary and middle school teachers. So I'm going to talk, we have some YouTube videos too. Go follow us on our YouTube channel. We have some hands-on activities kiddos can do at home. We also have some other stuff that we've been working on. So if you type in DRI Science Alive and you see that green circle, that's us. Follow us. We're going to be adding a lot of content in the coming months for you to use both in and outside of the classroom. So if Brittany, if you don't mind playing a little bit of ping pong and opening my energy efficiency PowerPoint, I will talk about that particular kit. So this one is geared at 4th grade. We originally partnered with a local informal education group to design this. And then we had teachers, local Reno teachers, come and one summer and help us revise it, because these products, if they're not serving you and if they're not hitting the mark, we really want to make sure that they're the best they can be. So this has been through a lot of different teachers' hands over the years. So if you see this first slide, that's what our boxes look like when you open them up, just a ton of stuff. They're not set up like that, but they have all these things inside. Some things that we have in here: science notebooks, so your students can document their observations and understandings throughout all the lessons. We have a word wall here, so a really great visual vocab tool. And then if you go to the next slide, please. Awesome. So lesson 1 is really students understanding the difference between renewable and non-renewable resources. They go through the question formulation technique, QFT, for those of you who have heard about that. So they're really coming up with their own questions that they want to then answer throughout the series of lessons that follows. They are able to research renewable and non-renewable sources on their own independently, and then they come back together to really communicate what impacts that they saw to their peers. So that's just a quick picture of some of the stuff inside. Next slide, please. All right, so lesson 2 is talking about protecting our environment, right? So we do need natural resources, and we extract them in order to produce some of the things we need, such as energy. But we really introduce students to cost-benefit analysis here. So, you know, there's always going to be pros and cons. So they assume the role of land managers and different stakeholders, and they come together to kind of talk about, you know, everyone has different priorities, and we have to make decisions based upon what's best for the collective whole, not us as individuals. Next slide. So this is just, that was some visuals of that particular lesson as well. Those are some teachers diving into that. Okay, so lesson 3, human impact on the earth, comparing past, present, and future technologies, recognizing that we've come a long way, but there's still a long way to go, right? They're working with small scale replicas of different wind turbines, different solar panels, just in order for them to kind of see what it looks like and manipulate the blades of a wind turbine, be able to change the direction of a solar panel, and determine, you know, how cloud cover might be able to impact how much energy you could produce. So they're really understanding how humans are a big part of this energy story. Next slide, please. So lesson 4 is kind of taking it into the classroom. So how much energy do we use every day in our classroom? We learn about phantom loads, and we learn about, you know, what are some behavioral changes that we can implement so we're not just leaving lights on all the time, wasting water, all of that jazz. So really taking all the things they've learned and really attaching it to something they care about, which is their community classroom. Next slide. And the last one is, you know, what can we do? We always want to end our boxes on sort of a take action piece. So this one, they do something similar in their home environment, and then they bring it back to, okay, what are some tangible things that we can do? This is attached to, we won't play it, but our PSA video contest that we will talk about at the very end if we have time. But students are either conducting a town hall, or they're doing their own campaign in their school, just to really get the word out about how they can make some really tangible changes. So that is our energy efficiency 4th grade kit. I'm going to kick it over to Chelsea, and she is going to walk us through our energy STEM kit.
All right, 1 minute. Okay, so I should be the biggest video on your screen. My name is Chelsea. I'm the Science Alive office coordinator. You probably know me best from emails I send about green boxes and helping everyone troubleshoot green box rentals, shipments, that type of stuff, as well as our event coordination, registration, that type of good stuff. I'm going to talk to you about one of our new STEM kits, our Energy Expedition STEM kit. Unlike our other STEM kits, which are space focused, this one's all about energy. And so I'm going to show you all of the materials, all of the handouts, things like that we have inside the box. So each box comes with a binder with instructions. Unlike a green box, our STEM kits are made to be user-friendly, easy to set up, easy to facilitate. They are not meant for specifically a teacher to facilitate them, but also a high school student doing some volunteer work, a grandparent, a parent, a volunteer. And all of our STEM kits are made of mostly non-consumable items. So they're items that you use and then put back into the box and send back to us. The only consumable item in our boxes are science notebooks, little booklets that the students would go through each station and write down their takeaways, answer questions, and then take home with them. So they have a proof that they went through the box and had that learning experience. I'm gonna turn my camera around really quick. Okay, so each STEM kit has 3 stations, and I have this first station laid out. I'm sorry, it might be a little grainy as it focuses, but our first station is about the different forms of energy. So the main goal of the station is to sort objects into different forms of energy. So we have these forms of energy cards that the students will have laid out in front of them, talking about light energy, chemical energy, mechanical energy, electrical energy, and then they have all these objects that they're asked to sort into each different type of energy. So we have some really cool stuff in here. We have some film that is heat sensitive, so when they touch it, a change occurs. We have some fake food to represent chemical energy. We have some mechanical objects, so we have a wind-up frog, a music box. We have an LED candle, flashlights, maraca, triangle to represent musical or sound energy. And then we also have a ton of different images that can be laid out as well. So pictures of lightning, geysers, computers, electronics, human speaking. And so they take all of these objects and they sort them into the different categories. And we have some instructions that will help guide them through the activity in case someone's not there. It can be more of like a museum setup. And then we have an answer sheet afterwards so they can figure out if they were correct or not. Our next station is about transfer of energy. So this one's a fun one. In the beginning of the station, they do some conversions. So how much food equals how much energy. So the example might be, I can eat 3 M&Ms, how many jumping jacks or arm windmills do I need to do to burn off those calories to use that energy? And then once they've done some simple math and learned about how chemical energy, food, can be transferred to our body to create mechanical energy or movement of our body, then they can go and play with some cool little devices. We have a hand wind turbine where they will blow on it and it lights up a small LED light, showing that we can use our energy to create mechanical energy, creating electrical energy. And then we have a hand crank radio that also has a flashlight on it. And so what the students would do is turn the hand crank and either light up a light or turn the radio on and hear some music. So they can understand that transfer of energy through us, from food to us to these electronic machines. And then the last station is really place-based and relevant to Nevada. We have a big map of our state of Nevada, and we have these really fun cards that show different types of energy sources. It's a picture, but also we have some descriptions, some pros and cons of using that type of energy, how we harness that type of energy, whether it's renewable or non-renewable. And so we have solar panels, we have the Hoover Dam, and we have a geothermal plant. So really cute little cards that they have to choose on how they will power Nevada for the coming years. So they'll pick 4 energy resource cards, and then they will go to this fun little game where they're sorting out their different energy usage. So they have 3 years, and they have renewable energy, which is green, and we have non-renewable energy, which is blue. And so they'll do a game where they draw chips from a bag to see how non-renewable energy eventually runs out while renewable energy is replenished. And so they can make some informed decisions about how they can go about powering their state. Let me just turn this back around. So that's just a quick overview of the activities. They're really fun, they're hands-on, and like Mackenzie said, we just finished creating this box. We have 10 of them available. They're on our website. Registration period is still open. So I would thoroughly encourage you to use it. You know, these were intended to be used in person at, like some of you mentioned, Family STEM Night, maybe a science club, but they can easily be expanded upon or used in demonstrations and videos. We know that you as teachers are super creative, and I could find a way to use these. So we'd be super happy for you to use them and give us feedback to see how you like them, how relevant they were to your classroom or club or library, boys and girls clubs. We're hoping that they're used in a wide variety of places. And we would love to hear how you use them. That's all I got. Back to you, Mackenzie.
Thanks, Charles. Just for the sake of time, I think we are going to bop it over to Mimi Lofton, and she is going to be going over some more elementary school resources for us. So Mimi's going to share her screen, and I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Mackenzie. You and Mackenzie and Chelsea made my lesson plan. I feel like my lesson plan is really bad after listening to your guys' presentation. All right, so here it is. Okay, I'm gonna move this. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start my timer, but Chris, please stop me, okay? All right, so my name is Mimi Laughlin. I'm originally from Japan. I've lived in Carson City since 2002. And I taught 5th grade for 14 years, and I'm the instructional coach at Baldwick Bray, okay? And I'm a Google innovator, and I'm also a leader at Google Educator Group Nevada, one of the leaders, and I love golf. Here's my email address, so if you have any questions, please, about my lesson plan, please let me know. And here's my Twitter handle, so follow me on Twitter. Okay, so when AJ asked me to share a science lesson plan, she also shared the teacher comments. And I read everybody's comments, and this particular comment really made an impact on me. So I'm gonna read this without the permission. Okay, so how can we help students to understand that on an individual level, they have the ability to cause positive change in the world? So whoever wrote this, I really wanna thank you for inspiring me. Okay, so here's my lesson plan. This is for the 4th grade. Please make a copy, and please feel free to edit and share, because I believe in teachers give teachers, okay? And I hope there are some ideas that you can use to teach your grade level, even though maybe you don't teach 4th grade, but I hope there are some ideas. And because I love technology, I use lots of apps, but you know, it's not about apps. It's not about technology. It's about science. Okay, so here's my lesson plan, and I use the 5E model of instruction, which starts with engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. And the learning targets are, this is Earth and Human Activity 3.1. The student-friendly objective is, I will make good decisions about energy use because it affects the environment. And the next generation science standards are, I will use multiple sources to get information. I understand that some resources are renewable over time and others are not. I will use cause and effect relationship to explain change. So here is the engage activity. I want the student to look at this photo and I want them to wonder, okay? They can wonder about anything. And if there's no wonder, that's fine, but most kids have lots of wonders. And then they're gonna write that down here. And I got this picture from this website, Seeing the World Through Clotheslines, clotheslines from Italy to China. I love the pictures, I think they're beautiful. Okay. But really the point that I wanted to make is that, you know, in the US, a dryer is a common appliance, right? You don't have to be particularly wealthy, but not so much in other parts of the world. So that's the point that I wanted to make. And okay, so engage 2 is how often do people use a clothes dryer, okay? And I surveyed the families from my school and my friends and students from Japan. About 200 families from my school took the survey. I really appreciated that. And about 180 families from Japan answered this survey. The blue area shows people who use a dryer every time they wash their clothes. So about 80% from Bolshevik families and 50% from families in Japan. Okay? And I like Flipgrid, and when you have a chance, please watch my friends' stories about their family stories and tradition about, you know, how they dry their clothes, okay? I don't have time to show it today, but, right. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the explore phase. Now students do understand what renewable, non-renewable energy is, right? So here are the resources. And I created this Jamboard, okay? And this is the Simpson nuclear plant is non-renewable, but the solar is renewable, okay? That kind of thing, okay? So please, if you like it, please make a copy and use it. Another explore activity is that, okay, how long will it take to air dry a mask? Because we have to wear masks, right? And you don't want to, you know, you want to hand wash your mask, right? Because you don't want to wash your masks with your, you know, what, with your husband's dirty laundry, right? So I highly recommend you do this kind of experiment with your students and have them create a chart. You know, so for younger grades as well, I think this kind of quick and short experiment and collect data is critical. Okay, I have 4 more minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna, so let's move on to the explain phase. Now, appliances need energy just like we need food, right? So I just created this chart, and what the student does is to do a little scavenger hunt at home and write down how much energy appliances use, okay? And so for example, my Chromebook uses 33 watts of energy per hour. And I know this from the back of it. So I think that'll be fun for students to do a little scavenger hunt, okay? And a typical dryer use about 3,000 watts of energy per hour, which is 3 kilowatts. So I think this activity will be a great math connection, you know, the powers of 10 and da, 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 da. If one family uses air dryer, clothes dryer for 1 hour, then they use 3 kilowatts of energy. What about 10 families? What about 100 families? What about family households in Nevada? How about households in the US? So in the US alone, 360 million kilowatts of energy is used. That's a lot, right? That's a lot of energy. And I really want the students to ask, why should we care? right? Because electricity is so easily available, but we really should not take it for granted, right? And I got these questions from Catherine Connolly's Leveraging Cultural Assets to Support Science Learning at Home. These are wonderful questions because what are some human impacts about using this much energy? What species or landscapes are impacted? What things are helpful, harmful, neutral? Who's helped? Who's harmed? How will the future be impacted? No matter how young your students are, I think they need to be thinking about this kind of questions. And the elaborate phase is now you are hired by NV Energy to reduce energy consumption in your area, okay? And they are going to do a project. And here is, I think, the power of this kind of teacher training, because I want my students to have authentic audience instead of just, they do this kind of project knowing that it's going to be just for grading. I think that's sad. So teachers, let's get together and give students an opportunity to share, like a bullet point. This is what students came up with. And what about in Reno? What about in Vegas? What about in rural areas? I think that would be fantastic.
And I'm so sorry, Mimi. You have about a minute left, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. Okay. So they are going to evaluate, okay, the effect of their project. And I was just thinking about my, reflection. Ever since I started making this lesson plan, I really started, my behavior is changed. I started turning off lights more often, right? And so that was wonderful. I want the students to really change their behavior, okay, as well, to make a big impact. And Adam Grant from NV Energy was talking about this website. This is fantastic. So please go sign up and check it out. I'm addicted to this website. It's really fun. Okay, this is my final slide. The title of this painting is American Progress. And I really want you to think about that. It's progress, right? So now, sorry. Okay, so again, why should we care? Why should we care, right? We progressed, but we need to care. Thank you so much for being here, teachers. Thank you. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Thanks, Mimi. All right, next up, we have Michelle Gallivan, who will talk about a middle school, high school, very adaptable to actually all grades present. Michelle, welcome.
Hello, sorry, technical difficulties. I forgot which screen I wanted to share. There it is. All right, thank you. And it's hard to follow Mimi, very organized lesson plans. Mine are more just kind of resources. So who I am, I'm a 7th and 8th grade science teacher at Sage Ridge School. We're an independent school here in Reno, Nevada. I'm also Dean of Students, and I'm in year 25 of teaching. I've been attending DRI teacher education sessions since 2008 when it was Green Power. And we were a Green Power school back in the day, so I have lots of cool resources from that program. And I'm lucky enough to have worked on some green boxes in the summer of 2019. I'm just a huge proponent of everything DRI does, attending the workshops, checking out those green boxes, even if you don't plan to use it right away. Check it out, get the resources, pull what you want from them, pull what you want to use as far as the content, and then make it your own. And then putting in a plug for citizen science projects like Stories in the Snow. And I also put my contact information in there. So just so many resources. So I saw a question pop up in the survey from Monday about how do I teach climate change? So I thought I'd kind of address how I do that with middle school. I don't explicitly teach the subject of climate change. It can have so many negative connotations if kids are parroting their parents' views at home or political views. So through lessons on energy, types of energy, energy transformation, energy efficiency, thermal energy and waste heat, and electricity generation, all the activities that I do, the students make their own conclusions. So that's my goal when I'm teaching my energy lessons, talking about waste heat and things like that. So major activities that I do, I got my hands on a Stirling engine, which is, it can fit on a coffee mug and you can power it with some birthday candles. So that shows energy transfer and transformation. And then the wasted energy, they're really loud. So you can talk about how not all the energy goes into the product that you want. And then linking that later to energy efficiency. Heat technology, I got a reading from NSTA Science Scope magazine about home heating options and the different fuels available, and the students can read that and analyze which one's the best, the pros and cons. Electricity generation, I do a research project and a debate on the pros and cons of different types of electricity generation, and linking again that to the waste heat and pollution. And then my project that I tried last year that I'm going to focus on is how to improve energy efficiency of our school building through a series of labs and investigations. I know there's the home audits out there, so you can have students like look at their own home. But for my students, that was too personal. They felt judged if they were to analyze their own home. So instead we focused on the school. It's easy to judge school. It's not as personal. And I pulled, for that project, I pulled from a variety of different green boxes that I've checked out over the years. They may be old and outdated, I'm not sure, haven't looked at the list, but electrical system, there's a light bulb debate, energy efficiency, it sounds like the new STEM kit is gonna be amazing. There's a classroom energy audit, and then a whole bunch of activities on measuring heat flow, looking at building envelope, heating, types of heating, and then appliances are available through those green boxes. So what I did is I created a project that was cross-disciplinary with our history teacher. We needed a project for end of the year where 8th graders are taking exams, the 7th graders don't have regular classes. So students researched energy efficiency related to school. What can the school do to improve energy efficiency? Which, if you can't sell the students on saving the earth, you can save money, and everybody likes money. So if you put it on that standpoint, then you'll get more buy-in, and saving the school money is good in the long run, because then we can buy more supplies that are fun. And then they tied their energy efficiency project loosely to an ancient civilization. The most popular one was the home heating of these pipes under Roman homes, and tying in how they used heat back in the day and actually heated their homes. And then they created a podcast with the target audience of our head of school and the board of trustees. Just like Mimi said, making it authentic, giving them a purpose for that message is huge, especially with middle school students. And the overall goal was, how can a small change save the school money and help decrease our energy footprint? They can all agree that it helps. I'll try to, there's lots of information on my slides. And I put all of my resources in the resource folder that will be shared with you. So from the different green boxes, I had lots of activities, and the students could choose that they want to look at something simple like window replacements, or adding thermal curtains or thermal blinds. And they ran experiments with different fabrics or different thicknesses of windows through some of those activities. The kilowatt device, looking at vampire devices, and should the school have all the teachers shut down their computers fully and all the projectors at nighttime, and doing the math and the calculations on how much we could save if we got rid of vampire devices, or switching over to LEDs. Had different lamps in the back of my classroom with the kilowatt device running to see how much power each type of light bulb drew. The kids collected data to not only support their research, now they had actual data that they collected and they experienced to support their podcast. And then we played them all at the end of the year. This year, we might try to pull in an English connection. The teacher's going to be working on quotation marks. So making sure that they write proper dialogue. So another tie-in for another class for that project. And then, again, lots of information on my slides, kind of just copied and pasted. So here's a brief dialogue of a sample script that the kids wrote in partners. So they talked about window coverings and window curtains. And I won't read it all to you, but 80% that was from their data, and then they tied in the Romans from their history connection. So I left you a few, and then I even gave you a few of their podcasts to listen to when you get the resource. And then my favorite resources on energy besides DRI and NV Energy and all the resources you learned about this week, need.org has great information. They have these info books with worksheets and readings for the kids. So if you're doing a project on energy generation, they have every kind of power plant, so the kids can read those and compare. And then energy.gov, their science and innovation page, has a lot of information. And then, of course, NV Energy and the Power Shift resources. So that is what I have. I'm a fast talker, and that's that.
Great,
Whew.
Michelle. Thanks.
Yes.
And just a reminder, everyone, is that we will share out all of their resources. I put a link in the chat for you, but I'll send everything in a final email that'll have their slideshows, their resources, their contact information, everything for you. Okay.
Yes. Oh, and I borrowed the podcast idea from was it the Nevada Gas podcast competition? And I think it was only for Southern Nevada. So I made my own for my school. So yeah.
Nice. Awesome job. All right. Next up is Linda.
Okay, we'll try some new technology here.
All right.
Don't we just love it? I'm going to get my screen up. Well, we think. Share screen. Nope, it didn't go.
We are seeing your slides.
Are you seeing my slides?
You just have to expand them and start the slideshow.
Okay. Start the slideshow. What? Oh, this one right here. Can I stop and pause it?
There you go. Great job.
Okay, I just am gonna try and hold this one here for a second. Whoops. All right, I'm Linda Hines. I just recently retired in 2018 from El Dorado High School, a Title I school, and I was teaching horticulture and a cooperative resource teacher, kind of trying to guide some general ed teachers on some science practices. And I am currently teaching a long distance virtual kindergarten, but I'm on site with the kindergartners. So the first thing I did was send an email to Mackenzie and say, I need a green box immediately. How soon can I get it? Can I still get it? How can I justify getting this? Because I'm like kind of off the grid, but I have to have these resources. But I have some really great slides here from freshman biology, and I want you to pay attention to some of the details of the materials. Every lab was kind of generated with green box resources. And for those of you that are experienced in high school, labs just don't happen anymore. Number one, our average class was probably 54 students in a regular small Title I classroom. Huge. We had 2 teachers in there, and we still were like trying to figure out how can we do a lab on a block day. But we did. And we piggybacked labs that would match what our curriculum mandated that we'd be talking about, and tied it in with everyday happenings, everyday life, because once again, I think that was a really good point that Michelle brought out about how students really aren't too interested in what's happening at home because of that judgment statement. I'm at a Title I high school. We have a lot of couch surfers, homeless, and we're trying to engage them on things that are going to impact their life. And so the green box was like a perfect vehicle for us to do that, because we didn't have to ask for any materials. All our consumables were there, which was critical. Otherwise, it comes out of my pocket. But Jackie Simmons was my co-teacher. She was the generalist at this point in time. I was the special ed making the adaptations and modifications. However, in my previous life, I had a different career. And so the science background from that, from being in ruminant nutrition, for those of you in the agriculture world, was really helpful. And I agreed to do the labs, which were all on a block day. So this is our freshman biology class, and I want you to pay attention to all the impact that the green box had. And I'll just talk really quickly through it because, okay, keep an eye on this garbology and that green drop cloth. It was a total life save for us. And our notebooks, face masks, our gloves, everything was in our green box that we had at that time. And our facility, hallway, we couldn't do any of this in our classroom. So garbology, we're measuring. I did pre-sort a lot of the garbage, and it is something that you can do virtually in a fairly easy manner, having your students collect some shredded paper or some non-liquid garbage, and you could get them to measure some of that as well. Now, Craig will remember this. We had an art project demonstration at one of the casinos, and we were making paper, which is exactly where we went to with the shredded paper that we had from garbology. We went right into how can we take all this waste material and do something creative and productive in the science world. And so we went into taking leftover screen and duct tape and making paper presses, and talking about whatever topic came up. We talked about climate. Where would you get a lot of paper pulp? We talked about resources on transportation, how to get it from point A to point B, how practical this would be, how, you know, we just go and gather up all the paper from the office and we don't really think twice about where it's going to go from there. So everybody had to make their own press. And this was a critical statement. Now, this actually came from the lower level boxes, but I made a step-by-step format for the entire process of whatever program we were at. Some of this was in the green box, and I blew it up, reshaped it, so that students at any time they had a question could go back and either look at the seed, look at our recording table, and had a whole format. So we had an actual document that we would include in our science journal. And this is for every age level. I'm doing this in the kindergarten. This was a biology class for freshmen and sophomores. And this became a critical component of keeping a class of 58 students, knowing what to do, and having two teachers trying to accommodate the needs of those that second language, had a difficult time reading. They could all do the pictures and follow this. And I didn't have to tell them what level green box I was in. But I must admit, the green box that I got at my kinder outreach, our most exciting day was just opening the box and exploring what was in it. We didn't get to use very much of it, but it was things that they haven't seen in kindergarten. And even at the high school level, having balance scales, having real graduated cylinders. So then we stole the beans from the plant project and did a genetic adaptation, called it Alien Mystery Beans, to try and keep the kids really on top of it, and tried different methods of collecting. And once again, here's our collection data sheets that I got right from the box. And we had to make a little adaptation because it wasn't specific the topic, but it matched our educational curriculum and where we were going in our science development. But all these materials I got from my green box. So, and I left them in the green box too. So whoever got them next is like going, whoa, Petri dishes. Ask Mackenzie, I was always asking, do you have any more of those little Petri dishes? I really need them. and chopsticks and tweezers, anything we could use to make the subject appealing, all from the green box. So these are just different hands working together. Then we went right, those same bean seeds from one box and some of the leftover paper and all the soil from the plants box went into this project. So we taught them how to roll recyclable pots. We used the bottom of plastic bottles. How can we use all the plastic bottles we collected in 1 week? We gave everybody, you know, the bottom of a pot, and then how to plant, and then what happens. All this was documented, and all began with a simple green box. So just observations. Kids hadn't seen things grow. So we showed it, we made some observations. And this soil is going to show up in another picture. So I saved all that material. Here again is a flow chart. We were doing DNA. It came from a green box that was a little bit higher level. We just made adaptations. But for those of you who are trying to incorporate labs, and even more now with the virtual, having that flow of a step-by-step process can be a little tedious for the teacher, because you have to make these like 4 and 5 times. But if you're trying to accommodate 60 students in a classroom, which you will see, here's our green cloth. We're doing another project on mutations, climate. We talked about nuclear reaction is a huge thing, and why Nevada isn't going to be transporting, what could happen. These people lost their sight, but they still had touch. And this is our classroom. So green boxes were our salvation, truly. So these are just a few slides what was happening. Now here's all our soil and paper, and we're working in a sedimentation of alien deposits. When I sent a green box back, most of the time the consumables were long gone, and I didn't even tell them all the different things I'd use them in. So we recycled all the bottles, all the soil. That's it for just the fun things that we did. Now I'm not, stop the share. Now you have to look at me, right? Okay, so just kind of in closure, when we were trying to set up, we were on a block schedule, so we had to manage a lot of students. The green box at Title I schools in particular provided all the consumables I needed throughout the course. I'd have to change and adapt, sitting down and reading the materials, or just even showing the books, the resources, GPS. Magnifying glasses were like the hit of every class. And just not having any money and a way to use this. I don't know how long I've taken, had access to DR and the DRI resource materials, but like I said, when I got this new little option assignment to go to virtual kindergarten where we're doing technology, man, I had to get a green box. And I've got 2 ordered, and my co-teachers and I have set the alarm. So when the green boxes are available at like, Craig released them once at like 1 a.m. on Sunday, we were up at 1 a.m. to reserve our green boxes. So, you know, they were very important, and we developed them a lot. And I'm happy to answer any questions about how to make any of these adaptations. The lesson plans kind of are tucked away and you know, the curriculum engine or whatever we did. And I tried to write the evaluations of how I use them with how many kids and how I change them, because it's really, really important to keep the green boxes available for everybody and to make the tweaks and what we needed a little more of. And then the thank you for everything that was there and that we used. So did I make it in that 7-minute spot?
You're good. It was about 10 minutes, but they were 10 wonderful minutes.
Okay, I talked fast, but I've had to slow down since I've been in kindergarten. Okay, I can't talk as fast as I used to. Thank you so much. It's been fun.
So thanks all the teachers who presented today and our Science Live staff. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat and we will ask them for you. Of course, we will share out a whole bunch of resources. I'll send all these links in an email, but this is a chance if you want to ask any specific questions to specific teachers or in general. So we'll see if anything comes in right now. And if not, we have a few questions that were asked ahead of time that we can throw in as well.
You know, while we're waiting, maybe Emma and Chris can talk about some of the other programs that we're doing for energy that teachers might be interested in.
Sure, absolutely. Hi guys, my name is Emma and I am one of the STEM education outreach coordinators here. And I'm gonna talk really quick, but I have two projects that I wanna tell you guys about. The first one is one that we are partnered with Southwest Gas and NV Energy. And it is a PSA contest for our middle school students. So we're promoting energy conservation and asking middle school students to use their creativity to come up with a 2-minute video full of energy saving tips. There will be 3 student winners and also 3 teacher winners, and that's for the teachers who have the most class participation, and Amazon gift cards will be the prize, which is always exciting. The other project we're working on currently to promote our energy conservation is our EnergySmart musical theater performances. So we've been working with a local theater troupe to create virtual performances full of energy saving tips. And this has been made available to 2nd and 3rd grade classrooms. And we hope to have more presentations in the spring. And if you are interested in either of these projects, I will put my email in the chat and you guys can reach out to me.
Hello, I'm Chris. I'm also a STEM education outreach coordinator with Science Alive, and we are doing a home energy kit program for 4th grade classrooms. We will send home energy kits that help you conserve energy at home to any interested 4th grade teachers and students. We have put together a fun and informative video that walks students and teachers through energy conservation. We also have engaging riddles and scenarios we walk kids through and have them contemplate how to save energy more efficiently. So if you are a 4th grade teacher and you're interested in that, I will also include my email address in the chat so you can reach out to me and we can schedule some awesome virtual presentations with you. And we also have surveys involved with this. And if you get, I think, about 80% of your students to participate in the survey, you will also be eligible to receive an Amazon gift card. So it's a win-win-win scenario, and we appreciate all of your interest.
So we had a question about Greenbox checkout. Someone asked, can we check out any Greenbox that's available? And the answer is yes. While Greenboxes are, they kind of fall under grade levels, you're welcome to check out any of them. Just ask Linda Hines, who checks out all of them. So if you can get to them before Linda Hines, you are a winner, okay? So beat her to it, you guys, yeah. So feel free to check out any of them that will help you with your practice. And there was another question asked about how long can we keep the green boxes? And Mackenzie, I believe, answered that, but we do have a green box checkout period. They're usually about 4 to 6 weeks. And so check out the dates, but you get to keep them for about 4 to 6 weeks. And if you finish it early, share it with a colleague. If you're in class, you can definitely share them with a colleague, or return it early is fine as well. But we want you to share them. The more students who can engage with these, the better.
Yeah, Craig, and one comment is it does come with the thumb drive. So you can keep using it even after you've returned it.
Well, that's a good trick, isn't it? We also ask if you do use it over and over again that we get some numbers, or you just let us know that you did, so we can continue to report numbers back to our funders and say, hey, this is ongoing and being used even beyond what we're checking them out for. So thanks, Linda. I think that's all the questions we had. AJ, I know you just posted the link to the final survey, which is awesome. Do you want to? Yeah. Do you want?
And we have one Yeah, we have one raffle winner for today for our last $75 gift card to Amazon.
Ooh, drum roll.
I believe she has been here all week. Her name is Robin Warnke from Brookman Elementary School. Robin, are you there?
Oh, she's waving. She's happy.
Yes.
She's thrilled. She's jumping up and down. You win this beautiful head right here.
All right. Congratulations, Robin. I will send you a link so you can give us your address. And I will send out a final email that has links to all of these resources and shared documents, shared folders. If your Zoom name is not the name you signed up with, make sure you fill out that form. So that we make sure to get your certificates back to you. So basically next month, Chelsea puts together the hours that you were here. Most of you were here all 3 days, but some people just did 2. So we'll get that list together, and then she will email you each a certificate as a PDF form, and then you can use that for your renewal hours. I know for some you upload it to Opal, and for others you have to submit it for CCSD. But we will send those out to you soon. Anyone else have any closing comments, thoughts before we sign off?
Well, I want to wish you all a happy end of October, a great Nevada day. Let's go celebrate with the day off. And then the holidays roll around, and just some plugs. Again, hopefully you're getting our newsletter. If not, please visit our website and sign up for the newsletter, because we have some great activities and a lot of announcements that come through there. And one other plug, that's a big event that's coming up that you're all invited to, is our STEAM conference. And that's going to be happening February 3rd through 6th. It's going to be virtual this year, so you'll all be able to participate. It's going to be really awesome around design thinking. And we have some great presenters and really great hands-on activities that we're going to be sharing that you could put into practice back in your schools. We sure hope that we're all going to be together physically one day, and I know you all are feeling the same way. But I want to thank you for spending 3 hours of your week with us, and and all of our colleagues, my colleagues here at DRI, we all thank you, and they're all amazing people, and I'm so blessed and happy to be able to work with each and every one of them. And anything else, gang?
Just a special thanks to our guest teachers, Michelle and Mimi and Linda. We really appreciate your insight and your feedback, because you are in there with all the teachers every day. So thanks for all your hard work to all of you, especially during these challenging times. So thanks for everything you do. Let us know what your needs are. And as Craig said, we do send out a newsletter. I know that it can end up in your junk mailbox. So if you add us to your contact list, it will come into your regular email box. But that's the place to look. Just, type in Science Alive and you should be able to find it. All right, team. Thanks. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Be safe.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks for filling out the survey.
I'm reading chat box. I'm just reading chat comments. I didn't do that during the presentation, so.
It's so hard to multitask, but you guys were great. Thank you so much, teachers, for sharing.
Yeah, Michelle and me and Linda.
Hey, I've got a green box on its way. So and I've been able, now that we've been doing these little laptop things, I can work it into my time a little bit. That's the tricky part when you are live from 9:45 to 10:15, and then so it's really been tricky. Oh, Craig, you'll just love this. Me as a kindergarten teacher, it's great. Sit down. But anyway, it's only 3 days a week. Only 3 days a week. So I've been lucky. But anyway, thanks for remembering me, and it was fun. I'm happy to advertise those green boxes. They are my life save.
Thank you for the opportunity. I didn't give out my secret of checking them out during the summer. So those of you who hung on, you check them out in the summer.
I've done
Yeah.
that as well.
That's
I
the
always
secret.
write,
That's the
"Mackenzie,
secret.
please.
Yes.
Mackenzie, please let me have a
Mhm.
box.
Oh,
Scout
good secret.
day camp.
Mhm.
Now we know.
I know.
Tricks
Those of
of
you
the
who hung
trade.
on, yeah. Nobody signs them out in the summer except for me. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. It was
Thanks,
great.
guys.
All of you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Anybody else want to chat? We good?
Thanks, Mac. Thanks, Chelsea. And thanks everyone for helping manage today. I know it was a little reorganization, but great work.
Y'all were
That was
all
great
awesome,
punting.
per usual.
Great punting, y'all. Really, really good. Really
Yeah,
good.
Great. I think it worked out just fine. And AJ, I'll upload. I don't know if anyone's gonna want the PowerPoints at all, but I'll upload the
Okay.
I'll upload the energy unit because we always do that. If we talk about a unit at a training, we always share those lessons. That's sort of a perk for coming to a training. So I'll upload that. But I won't upload all the teaching aids because there's a bazillion of them.
That's okay. Do you have that link? I can share that link with you. There's like a link for these resources that the teachers, I'm going to send out a final email that has everything in it. So.
Yep, I will upload that right. I know I have it in an email somewhere. I will find it and upload that. Is there anything else, or you think that's sufficient, right?
I think that's great.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so Chris and Emma, I think you guys sent me stuff that I can put up there too for the PSA and the theater stuff.
Yes, I'll get my links to you
Great.
as soon as possible.
Great. Yeah, I have a very long email, but it has
it's got everything.
Things, right?
Good.
Everything people want access to right at their fingertips. So
Perfect.
That's great.
Linda has a question about a previous workshop.
Let's unmute her.
What's up, Linda?
So I went to the workshop when we first went virtual. It was the week long, and we were talking about just different energy and the desert and stuff. I got the email for the certificate and that I attended the class, but then my computer crashed and it broke and everything. And so I lost all that data. Is there any way to get previous?
Yes.
Okay.
Chelsea already sent it to me and I'm about to send it to you. I just have been, that's on my list of things to do because she already sent it to me. So I will forward it to you now.
Awesome. And I just have to say thank you very much. This is probably like my 10th workshop, 2 virtual, but I usually go to DRI in Southern Nevada. So thank you. Thank you for this. I love your guys' classes. I tell all my
You're welcome. Well, good.
Thanks, Linda.
And
Thank you.
Good seeing you again.
Bye. Thanks.
Okay, gang. I have to jump off. You all
Thanks,
were
everybody.
awesome.
Great job.
Wow.
Yay.
You are all the best.
For doing my slide.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
you guys.